Chosen one. Stop. Your thumb just froze mid-scroll, didn't it? Right there. Hovering over this video like something invisible grabbed your hand and said, "Wait, you don't even know why you're here. You were just scrolling, looking for something to fill the silence, something to distract you from that ache in your chest at 2 a.m. And then this. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. This message, it wasn't supposed to be public. I'm serious. What you're about to hear was locked in heaven's classified files, sealed, archived, meant for a specific moment, for a specific group of people who've been marked. But something happened in the spiritual realm 48 hours ago. Something shifted. And this file? It got unredacted. This isn't YouTube's algorithm that brought you here. This is heaven's algorithm. There's a difference. See, Google doesn't know your 3 a.m. prayers. YouTube doesn't track the tears you've cried into your pillow when everyone else was asleep. But God? He's been watching. He's been listening. And he just slid this message under your door like a classified envelope at midnight. You think it's coincidence that out of billions of videos, millions of voices, thousands of distractions, your thumb stopped here? On this title? At this exact second in your life? No, beloved. You walked into a room you weren't supposed to see yet, but the door's already open, and there's no going back. If you really knew how many invisible appointments had to align just for these words to reach your ears tonight, you wouldn't dare move from this spot. Angels repositioning, demons being pushed back, divine timing colliding with your desperation. Something in your spirit just whispered it, didn't it? 4 words that made your chest tighten. This is for me. Say it out loud right now. Don't be embarrassed. Your walls have heard worse. Say it. This is my message. Type it in the comments. That's not just engagement. That's you signing a contract with heaven that you're ready to receive what comes next. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why God allowed this leak. Why you? Why now? Why your life has felt like a war zone when you've been trying to live in peace. Don't go anywhere. Sit with me. What I'm about to show you will explain everything. You know what haunts me? It's not the big theological questions. It's simpler than that. It's sitting across from someone at a diner on 3rd Avenue, watching them stir their coffee for the 3rd time, and hearing them whisper, "Does God even remember my name?" And I want to reach across that table and say what I'm about to tell you right now. Beloved, there is a file in heaven with your name on it. Not a digital file, not some cloud storage that crashes when the server goes down. I'm talking about a physical, sacred record that's been building since before you took your first breath. And what's inside it would make you weep if you could see it. Psalm 56:8 says it plainly. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Think about that for a second. Every tear you cried at your kitchen table at 3 a.m. when the bills didn't add up, God caught it, bottled it, dated it, sealed it. Every tear you shed at that funeral when you buried someone who was supposed to outlive you, he didn't miss a single drop. But it's more than tears, chosen one. Matthew 10:30 tells us, he knows the number of hairs on your head. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, that's getting easier for him to count these days. But you're missing the point. God isn't just counting. He's cataloging, he's documenting, he's building a case file on your faithfulness. You're not 18 anymore. Let's be honest about that. You've got decades behind you now. You've buried people you loved, parents, friends, maybe even a child, maybe even a spouse. You've survived things you still don't talk about at church potlucks. Things that happened in marriages nobody knew were falling apart. Nights in hospitals when doctors used words you didn't want to understand. Moments when you looked at that bottle of pills and thought about taking all of them just to make the pain stop. But you're still here. That's not luck. That's documentation. See, heaven's been keeping records the whole time. While you were going through hell thinking nobody noticed, thinking you were invisible, thinking your suffering didn't matter, God was writing, recording, filing away every single moment of faithfulness when you had no strength left. That morning you got out of bed, even though depression told you to stay under the covers, filed. That afternoon you forgave someone who never even apologized, documented. That decade you stayed in a marriage that was killing you because you made a covenant before God, sealed in the archives. You want to know what's in your file? Let me tell you, there's a record of every prayer you prayed when you were too tired to even form words. Those groans, those sighs, those moments when all you could say was Jesus, please. Romans 8:26 says the Spirit translates those. They're in your file as complete prayers, fully formed, perfectly understood. There's documentation of every time you bit your tongue when you could have destroyed someone with your words. Every time you stayed quiet when you could have been right. Every time you chose peace over proving a point. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath," but nobody records that in earthly books. Heaven does. There's a detailed account of every season you stayed faithful when walking away would have been easier. When the church hurt you but you kept showing up. When your kids broke your heart but you kept praying. When your body started failing but you kept worshiping. That's all there. Every single act of defiant faith. Picture it like this. Somewhere in the archives of heaven, there's a dusty cabinet with your name engraved on it. Inside are folders thick with records, security footage that only captures prayers and tears, court documents of your life sealed until the right moment. And recently, very recently, God pulled your file. He opened it, He reviewed it, and He said something that shook the angels. It's time. They need to know what I've been seeing. This message you're hearing right now, it's pulled straight from that file. This isn't generic inspiration. This isn't feel-good religious content. This is classified information about your life that heaven just decided to declassify. You know why? Because you've been living like you don't matter. You've been walking around thinking your best years are behind you, thinking you're just taking up space, thinking God's moved on to younger, stronger, more useful vessels. And heaven looked at your file, looked at 70, 80, 90 years of faithfulness and said, no more. They need to see what we've been seeing. Here's what I need you to understand, and this is going to wreck you in the best way. There's one line in your file that stands out above all the others. One sentence, one moment, one act of faith so pure, so costly, so beautiful that when heaven reads it, angels stop what they're doing. And that one line, that's why this message found you today. God is about to show you what that line is. He's about to reveal the exact moment in your history that qualified you for what's coming next. If you absolutely know that you should not be here right now, that you should have been gone years ago but God kept you, type these words in the comments. I should not be here, but God kept me. That's your testimony in one sentence. Say it, own it. Because what I'm about to tell you next will explain why He kept you, why your file is thick, why heaven refused to close your case. And beloved, when you understand the reason, everything about your life is going to make sense. You want to know something that's going to shake you? This message didn't arrive early. It didn't arrive late. It arrived exactly when your heart was one prayer away from going silent forever. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. How many times in the last 6 months have you whispered into the dark, God, if you're real, I need a sign? How many mornings have you opened your eyes and felt nothing but the weight of another day that looks exactly like yesterday? How many nights have you quietly made peace with the idea that maybe, just maybe, your life is what it is, and expecting more is just setting yourself up for disappointment? You've been saying it, haven't you? Not out loud, but in that silent conversation you have with yourself at 3 a.m. when your body wakes you up and won't let you go back to sleep. I'll just exist. I won't ask for much. I won't hope too hard. I'll just make it through. Dear one, that resignation, that quiet acceptance that your story is basically written and there are no more plot twists coming, that's exactly the moment God was waiting for. See, there are two kinds of time operating in your life right now, and most people die never understanding the difference. The Greeks had two different words for it, Chronos and Kairos, and if you miss this distinction, you'll miss everything. Chronos is the time you're familiar with. That's the clock on your nightstand mocking you at 2 a.m. That's the calendar with all the doctor's appointments circled in red. That's the birthday candles getting harder to blow out. That's your knees reminding you that you're 73, not 23. Chronos is time that just passes. Tick-tock, day after day, nothing you can do about it. It's neutral, it's cold, it doesn't care about your dreams. But Kairos, oh beloved, Kairos is something completely different. Kairos is divine appointment. It's God's timing crashing into your timeline like a freight train through a paper wall. It's the moment when heaven says, now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Kairos doesn't show up on your calendar. You can't schedule it. You can't predict it. But when it arrives, you feel it in your bones. And this video? This message that somehow found its way to your screen today? This is Kairos. Listen to what Ecclesiastes 3:1 says. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. That word time in the original Hebrew, it's not talking about minutes and hours. It's talking about appointed moments, divine intersections, Kairos. This isn't about your age, chosen one. This is about your timing. You think it's an accident that you're hearing this now? After everything you've been through, after all the doors that closed, after all the prayers that seemed to bounce off the ceiling, after you finally stopped asking and started accepting? No, God doesn't drop Kairos moments randomly. He waits, He watches, He listens to every desperate prayer, every silent tear, every moment you wanted to give up but took one more breath instead. And then, when you're at the exact point where human effort ends and divine intervention must begin, that's when He moves. Think about it like this. You've been waiting for an elevator in a building where everyone else got off on their floors. 3rd floor, promotion. 5th floor, healing. 7th floor, breakthrough. And you? You just kept riding, floor after floor, watching the doors open for others, watching them step into their blessings while you stayed in that metal box, going up and down, wondering if you'd missed your floor entirely. But here's what you didn't see. Your floor wasn't on the regular stops. Your floor is the penthouse, and the elevator had to pass everyone else's level to get to yours. Or think of it like this. You've been waiting at a train station, train after train pulled in, but none of them were yours. You watched other people board. You watched them wave goodbye. You watched them disappear into their futures while you stood there with your ticket, wondering if you'd been given the wrong departure time. But the train that's coming for you? It doesn't make local stops. It's express. And once you board, there are no more delays, no more detours, straight to your destination. This is why it had to find you now. Not 5 years ago when you still had strength to make it happen yourself. Not next year when you might have given up completely. Now, today, this hour. When you're weak enough to know you need God, but still believing enough to receive Him. Moses was 80 years old, tending sheep in the desert, when the burning bush appeared. 80. The world had written him off. He'd written himself off. He was just running out the clock. But God said, "Now you're ready. Now you understand what you couldn't have understood at 40. Abraham was 75 years old when God called him to leave everything he knew. Not 25, not 45, 75. Because the promise God was about to give him required a level of trust that only comes from decades of living. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 years old when she finally saw the Messiah with her own eyes. 84 years of waiting, praying, believing, and on the exact day God appointed, baby Jesus was brought to the temple, not a day early, not a day late. Your waiting wasn't wasted time, it was prep time. And if you're sitting there thinking, "But I'm too old now, I've missed too much. It's too late for God to use me," let me tell you something that's going to wreck that lie. The enemy tried to keep this video away from your eyes. You want to know why? Because what you're about to discover in the next part will activate something in you that hell thought it had successfully buried. If you know in your gut that this timing is not an accident, if something in your spirit is confirming that you're exactly where God needs you to be, whisper it right now. I'm right on time with God. Type it in the comments. Let heaven see you own it. Because the question isn't whether you're late. The question is whether you're ready to discover why everything had to happen exactly the way it did to position you for what's coming next. You're still here. That alone is a miracle. Do you understand what just happened in the last 60 seconds? While you were listening to me, your phone probably buzzed. Maybe it was your daughter texting about something that could have waited. Maybe it was a spam call about your car's extended warranty. Maybe it was that news alert screaming about another crisis you can't control. And you ignored it. You stayed. That wasn't discipline, beloved. That was divine intervention. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you. The enemy doesn't have to destroy you if he can distract you. He doesn't need to kill your body if he can kill your attention span. Because your attention is the gateway to your transformation. And right now, there's an invisible war being fought over where your eyes land, where your mind wanders, where your focus goes. Think about your last 72 hours. How many times did you pick up your phone and forget why you picked it up? How many times did you open Facebook just to check something quick and suddenly an hour disappeared? How many times did worry about your blood pressure, your grandkids, your bills pull you away from the still, small voice trying to reach you? The Apostle Paul warned us in Ephesians 6:12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." He wasn't talking about physical battles. He was talking about the war for your mind, the fight for your focus, the assault on your attention. And beloved, that battle is raging right now. You almost scrolled past this. You know you did. Your thumb was ready. Your mind was already moving to the next thing. But something stopped you. Something cut through the fog. Out of 7 million videos uploaded this week, out of endless noise and content and distraction, this message found you. That's not the algorithm. That's not luck. That's warfare being won in your favor. Here's what the enemy knows that most believers have forgotten. If he can keep you distracted for the next 15 minutes, you'll miss the one sentence that was meant to rewire your entire destiny. If he can get you to click away before the breakthrough moment, you'll go back to the same prayers, the same frustration, the same wondering why nothing ever changes. He doesn't need you to stop believing in God. He just needs you to stop paying attention long enough to miss what God is saying. Think about it like this. You're standing on a crowded New York subway platform at rush hour. Thousands of people, hundreds of conversations, announcements blaring, train brakes screeching, complete chaos. And somewhere in that noise, someone is shouting your name, your actual name. They have the answer you've been searching for. They have the key you need, but you can't hear them because of the noise. That's your life right now. Drama, health worries, family chaos, bills, doctor appointments, the endless scroll, the constant notifications. And buried underneath all of that, God has been trying to get one message through to you. Just one. But the static has been so loud. Until now, this is that cleared moment. This is when the static stops. This is when the fog lifts for just long enough for you to hear what heaven has been screaming at you for months. Jesus said in Matthew 13:9, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." Not everyone has ears that work anymore, not because they're deaf, because they're too full of noise, too full of opinions, too full of worry, too full of other voices. But you're different. You're still here. Do you know what that means? It means your spiritual ears still function. It means you can still discern the difference between content and calling. It means when God speaks, something in you still recognizes his voice. But here's the urgency you need to feel right now. This window won't stay open. The enemy is regrouping. He's going to send another notification, another worry, another distraction. He's going to whisper that you can finish this later. He's going to remind you of that thing you need to do. He's going to try everything to pull you away before you hear the sentence that changes everything. There's a line coming in this message that's going to feel like God reached through this screen and wrote it across your life with fire. A line that's going to answer the question you've been asking him in secret. A line that's going to break something that's been choking you for years. But you'll only hear it if you stay. Staying isn't passive, chosen one. Staying is warfare. Every minute you keep your attention locked on this message, you're winning a battle. Every second you resist the pull to check your phone, to get up, to click away. You're pushing back against forces that don't want you to hear what's next. 1 Peter 5-8 warns us, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." The word vigilant means to stay awake, to pay attention, to not drift off. This is your vigilance test. This is your sobriety check. Are you awake enough to recognize that this moment matters? Are you present enough to catch what's being said? Are you strong enough to ignore the noise for just a little longer? If you're still here, if you've made it this far, type these 4 words in the comments. I refuse to be distracted. That's not just engagement. That's you drawing a line in the sand. That's you telling hell, "Not today. Not this time. You will not steal this from me." Because what I'm about to tell you next will explain why your life has felt like it's been on pause while everyone else is moving forward. Why you've been praying the same prayers for years with no answer. Why you feel like you're 75 years old, but your assignment hasn't even started yet. The distraction wasn't random, it was strategic. And once you understand why they've been fighting so hard to keep you from hearing this, everything makes sense. Let me tell you something they've been hiding from you for decades. Something the enemy has worked overtime to keep you from discovering. Because if you ever found out what I'm about to tell you, his whole operation in your life would collapse. You ready? You are the answer to someone else's prayer. Not were, are, present tense. Right now, at 73, at 81, at 67 years old with arthritis in your knees and bifocals on your nose, you are the answer to prayers being prayed by people you haven't even met yet. That's why this message was locked away. That's why it wasn't meant to go public. Because what you're carrying is so rare, so valuable, so dangerous to the kingdom of darkness that hell has spent years convincing you you're finished. See, this wasn't some motivational speech that accidentally got released early. This was classified information about who you really are, about what's been hidden inside you, while the world told you to sit down, shut up, and accept that your time has passed. But let me ask you something. Why are you still here? Why didn't God take you home when your spouse died? Why are you still breathing when half your high school class is already gone? Why are you watching this right now when you could be doing 1,000 other things? Because you're carrying something. The Bible calls it a mantle in 2 Kings chapter 2. When Elijah was about to be taken up to heaven, Elisha begged him, "Let a double portion of your spirit be upon me." And you know what Elijah said? He said, "If you see me when I'm taken, you'll receive it." The mantle fell. The older generation passed the anointing to the younger. But here's what nobody tells you: that mantle doesn't transfer automatically. It requires a witness. It requires someone who stays long enough to see the glory. You are that witness, chosen one. Your years aren't your sentence. They're your credentials. Every wrinkle on your face is a testimony to God's faithfulness. Every gray hair is a crown of glory that Proverbs 16:31 promises to those who've walked in righteousness. Every scar, every surgery, every bill you didn't know how you'd pay but somehow got paid, that's not your burden, that's your resume. Heaven looks at you and sees a living archive of miracles, a walking library of answered prayers, a breathing testimony that God keeps his promises even when it takes decades. But the enemy? He sees a threat. Because if you ever wake up to who you really are, if you ever understand that your wisdom is worth more than the world's education, if you ever realize that your prayers carry the weight of someone who's actually walked with God through fire, you become the most dangerous person in your family, in your neighborhood, in your church. Let me paint you a picture. You know those old trees in Central Park, the ones that have been standing for 150 years? Their roots go down 40-50 feet into the ground. When storms come through Manhattan, young trees get ripped out of the soil. But those old trees, they don't budge. You know why? Because their roots are holding the whole hillside together. They're anchoring everything around them. That's you. You think you're just getting old, but you're actually holding your entire family tree together with prayers nobody even knows you're praying. Your daughter thinks she made that decision on her own. Your grandson thinks he got lucky with that job. Your great-granddaughter thinks she randomly changed her mind about that boy. But you were in your prayer closet at 5 in the morning, calling their names before the throne of God. You are the root system they don't even know is keeping them alive. Isaiah 46 verse 4 says, "Even to your old age and gray hairs I am he who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you." God doesn't say he used to carry you. He says, "I am carrying you right now, and I will keep carrying you." Because you're not a leftover, beloved. You're a carrier. You're not an extra in someone else's story. You're the main character in a chapter that only you can write. Think about this. Moses was 80 years old when God called him from that burning bush. 80. The world would have had him in a nursing home. But God said, "Now you're ready. Now you understand suffering. Now you know what it means to depend on me completely." Abraham was 75 when God promised him nations. Sarah was 90 when she birthed Isaac. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 when she recognized Jesus in the temple. God doesn't retire his generals. He refines them. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's why the enemy worked so hard to keep this message from reaching you. If he can convince you that you're done, if he can make you believe that your best days are behind you, if he can get you to spend your final years in a rocking chair instead of in warfare, he cancels an entire generation that was supposed to drink from your well. There are young people right now drowning in confusion. They don't need another podcast. They need a grandmother who knows how to pray until heaven answers. They don't need another influencer. They need a grandfather who's been tested and proven faithful. They don't need theory. They need testimony. Your testimony. You are not a relic from a bygone era. You are a key hidden in a drawer that unlocks someone else's prison door. You are a war medal hidden in a shoebox under the bed that needs to be worn, so this generation can see that it's possible to fight and win. The secret hell didn't want you to hear is this: you are not winding down, you are loading up. Every year you've lived has been adding ammunition to your spiritual arsenal, and God is about to release you into your most powerful season yet. If something in you just woke up, if something dormant just started stirring, type these 4 words in the comments right now: I am not done yet. Say it with your fingers. Let hell see you still have breath. Let heaven see you're ready for what comes next. Because, chosen one, this message found you for one reason. It's time to remember who you are. You know what no one tells you about getting older? It's not the wrinkles that hurt the most. It's not even the body breaking down piece by piece. It's looking back at your life and wondering, did any of it matter? Was all that suffering for nothing? Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Are there chapters in your story you wish you could rip out, pages you'd burn if you could? Moments that still make you flinch when they surface at 3 a.m. Maybe it's that divorce at 53 that left you sleeping alone for the first time in 30 years. Maybe it's those children who moved 3 states away and call twice a year if you're lucky. Maybe it's that church, the one you served faithfully for decades, that turned their backs when you needed them most. Maybe it's watching your retirement savings evaporate in 2008 while Wall Street got bailouts and you got bills. Or maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe it's the abuse nobody believed, the addiction you hid for 20 years, the choices you made that you can't take back, the person you hurt, the dream you buried, the life you didn't live because fear had you in a chokehold. I see you, beloved. I see you carrying decades of weight on shoulders that were never meant to bear it alone. But here's what's going to wreck you tonight. Those chapters you wish you could erase. Those are the very chapters God underlined in red. Stay with me. Don't turn away yet. See, we've been taught that pain is punishment, that suffering means God's angry, that if your life was hard, you must have done something wrong. But that's not how heaven operates. That's religion talking. That's shame disguised as theology. Let me show you something in Scripture that might blow your mind. 2 Corinthians 1-4 says, He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Read that again. Your trouble wasn't random. Your pain had a pattern. Your suffering had a purpose. God allowed you to go through hell so you could walk someone else out of it. You think that depression that nearly killed you in your 40s was wasted years? No. That's your credential to speak life into someone who's standing on a bridge right now, wondering if tomorrow's worth seeing. You think that financial collapse that had you eating cereal for dinner was humiliation? No. That's your authority to tell someone losing their house that God is still provider when the bank account says 0. God doesn't waste pain, chosen one. He recycles it into authority. Think about Joseph. Betrayed by his own brothers at 17, sold into slavery, falsely accused of rape, thrown into prison and forgotten. For 13 years, his life looked like one cosmic mistake after another. But Genesis 50-20 records what Joseph finally understood. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. The pit wasn't punishment. The prison wasn't abandonment. Every betrayal, every injustice, every year of suffering was God preparing Joseph to save nations. And beloved, if you're still breathing, if you survived what should have destroyed you, then your story isn't over either. Where you bled is where you'll have the most power to heal others. That scar from the divorce. That's not damage, that's a map. Someone's marriage is falling apart right now, and they need to hear from someone who walked through the fire and didn't lose their faith. That shame from the addiction, That's not your disqualification, that's your testimony. Someone's child is overdosing in a bathroom, and they need to know recovery is possible because you're the proof. Your cracked places aren't what disqualify you, they're what make you qualified. I'm talking to the grandmother whose daughter won't let her see the grandkids. I'm talking to the man whose prostate cancer stole his dignity. I'm talking to the woman whose best friend died and took all the memories with her. I'm talking to everyone who's looked in the mirror and whispered, "I'm too broken to be used by God." That's a lie from hell. You want to know why this message couldn't stay private? You want to know why heaven leaked this file and made sure it found you tonight? Because someone out there is drowning in the exact ocean you already learned to swim through. Someone sitting in the exact pit you climbed out of. Someone's facing the exact giant you already defeated. And they don't need your perfection. They need your scars. They need to know that someone with your history, someone who's been through what you've been through, someone who's survived what you've survived, is still standing, still believing, still trusting God when logic says quit. This is why you're still here, beloved. Not to reminisce about the good old days, not to fade quietly into the background. You're still here because your pain is about to become someone else's prescription. Your mess is about to become someone else's message. Your test is about to become someone else's testimony. God is activating you right now, not in spite of your story, but because of it. If you've lived through enough pain to write a book, if you've survived enough battles to teach a masterclass in endurance, if you've carried enough weight to know what real strength looks like, type it right now. My pain will not be wasted. That's not just a comment. That's you putting your story back in God's hands and saying, use it, all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Take my broken pieces and make them into something beautiful. But here's what you need to understand before we go any deeper. Your story isn't just about healing you anymore. It's about positioning you. And what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly why God has been preparing you in secret for a public assignment that's about to shake your entire world. You want to know why this message found you today and not 6 months ago? Why it didn't come last year when you were begging God for answers? Why it feels like it arrived at the exact moment you were about to give up? Because heaven was waiting. Not to punish you, not to test your patience, but to watch for something specific in your heart that would prove you were ready to carry what I'm about to tell you. Listen to me carefully, beloved. There are messages God holds back until He sees a certain posture in your spirit. Not perfection, not performance, but positioning. And something you did recently, something you thought nobody noticed, that's what broke the seal on this word. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. Do you remember that moment 2 weeks ago when someone disrespected you, when they spoke to you like you were nothing, like your years on this earth meant nothing, like your wisdom was worthless? You felt that fire rise up in your chest, didn't you? That old you wanted to snap back, wanted to put them in their place, wanted to remind them who they were talking to. But you didn't. You swallowed that pride. You walked away. You said, "Lord, I still trust you. Even when they don't see my value, you do." Heaven recorded that moment. Angels took notes. God leaned in from His throne and said, "They're ready now." Or maybe it was last month when your bank account was screaming empty and your grandson called asking for help. Every logical bone in your body said, "I can't afford this. I'm barely making it myself." But something deeper than logic moved in your spirit. You gave anyway. You blessed someone else when you had very little, and you didn't post about it. You didn't tell anyone. You just did it and went back to trusting God to provide for you. That act, that quiet, invisible act of obedience, that's when the file on your life changed from under review to release the message. You see, Proverbs 15:3 tells us, The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. But here's what most people miss. He's not just watching to judge. He's watching to see who's ready to receive what he's been holding back. Think about it like this. There's a motion sensor light that only turns on when someone's actually present. Your obedience triggered that light. Your humility completed the combination on a lock that's been waiting for the right sequence. One last piece of evidence flipped in heaven's courtroom, and suddenly everything shifted. But I know what you're thinking right now. Nobody saw that. My family doesn't appreciate what I do. My children don't call. The church forgot about me. Even God seemed silent. That's the lie, chosen one. That's the exact lie the enemy needed you to believe so you'd stop doing what you were doing. Because every time you chose right when wrong would have felt better, every time you blessed when cursing would have been easier, every time you trusted when doubt was screaming in your ear, you were completing a divine combination that would unlock this very moment. Jesus said in Matthew 6-4, "Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Not might reward, not could reward, will reward. Present tense, active, happening right now. Heaven held this message back until your heart posture said, "I'm ready." Until you proved that you could handle rejection without becoming bitter. Until you demonstrated that you could face disappointment without losing faith. Until you showed that you could give from your lack and still worship from your weight. And now the door's open. The message that was sealed, it's leaking, not to everyone. Just to those whose recent obedience broke through the spiritual atmosphere and said, "Send it now." They've proven they're ready. Chosen one, heaven watched you choose love when bitterness would have felt better. Heaven watched you choose trust when walking away would have been easier. Heaven watched you choose generosity when selfishness would have been justified. And that's when your file moved from waiting to activate. You weren't invisible. You were being watched by the only eyes that matter. Every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of quiet faithfulness, God saw it all, and He just decided you're ready for what comes next. If you know there were moments you chose right even when it hurt, type this in the comments right now. Heaven saw me. Because you need to know, you absolutely need to know that you weren't invisible. Your obedience wasn't wasted. And what's about to be released in your life was worth every single second you spent being faithful when nobody was watching. But the question burning in your spirit right now is this. If God was watching my obedience to decide when to release this message, then what exactly is in this message that required that level of preparation? Now listen to me carefully, chosen one. Because what I'm about to give you isn't theory. This isn't some feel-good sermon you forget by tomorrow morning. This is your marching order, your activation protocol, and if you don't act on what you've just heard, this message will haunt you. You've been carrying something for 70, 80, maybe 90 years. A weight, a knowing, a fire that wouldn't go out even when life tried to drown it. But here's the hard truth. Revelation without action is just religious entertainment. And you didn't survive everything you survived just to be entertained. So here's what happens next. First, you guard your atmosphere like your life depends on it, because it does. I need you to hear me. You don't have time anymore to babysit chaos. You don't have the luxury of letting gossip, fear, and negativity camp out in your living room. That television program that fills your mind with terror about the economy, the government, the end times, turn it off. That friend who calls every Tuesday just to complain about the same problems they refuse to fix, let it go to voicemail. That family member who drains you dry every single time you pick up the phone, set a boundary. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." Above all else. Not when it's convenient, not when people understand. Above all else. You've been chosen for something sacred, and sacred things require protected space. The atmosphere around you right now is either feeding your calling or starving it. And at this stage of your life, you get to decide who and what gets access to your peace. Second, open your mouth strategically. There's someone younger who needs to hear your story. Not the sanitized version, not the church-safe version, the real one. The one where you almost gave up. The one where the bills weren't paid but somehow you ate. The one where the doctor said 6 months but you're still here 20 years later. There's a grandchild who thinks God doesn't answer prayers. There's a neighbor drowning in depression who needs to know someone else survived that darkness. There's someone at your church sitting in the back row, convinced they've missed their chance at 72 years old. 1 Peter 3:15 tells us, "Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have." You are the answer someone's been praying for. Your survival is their sermon. Your scars are their roadmap out of hell. This week, not someday, this week you will share one testimony, one story of God's faithfulness, with one person who needs to hear it. That's your assignment. Third, dedicate the next 7 days. I want you to pray one specific prayer every morning when you open your eyes. Lord, show me who this version of me is meant to serve. Not the old version, not who you used to be. This version, the one who just heard this message, the one who's been marked, the one who's been activated. Who is this version of you meant to reach? And I want you to write it down. Keep a journal, a notepad, your phone, I don't care. But when God shows you faces, names, situations, write them down, because heaven is about to give you assignments, and you need to be ready to move when he says move. Habakkuk 2:2 says, "Write the vision and make it plain." Plain means clear, simple, so clear that when you look at it 3 days from now, you know exactly what to do. Fourth, stay connected to this word. There's a reason you're still watching. There's a reason your spirit won't let you click away. Some of you need to watch this again tomorrow. Some of you need to write down one line from this message and put it on your bathroom mirror, your refrigerator, your phone screen. You're not just gathering information, you're being reprogrammed. Your mind has been speaking defeat for decades. Now we're installing new software, but software needs repetition to take root. Joshua 1:8 commands us. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night. Always. Day and night. That's not suggestion, that's strategy. You are a lamp that's been sitting in the attic for too long. You are an old instrument that's about to be tuned after years of silence. You are a lighthouse, and God is about to flip your switch back on because there are ships in the dark who need your light to find the shore. But in just a moment, I'm going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to pray over you like you're sitting right here in front of me. And some of you, I'm telling you this so you're prepared, some of you will feel a literal shift in your body, in your mind, in the atmosphere of your room, because when God's word goes forth, it doesn't return void. But before I do that, I need your agreement. If you'll commit these next 7 days to God in a fresh way, if you'll stop playing small and step into what you just heard, type these 3 words in the comments right now. I'm available, Lord. That's your yes to heaven. That's your signature on the contract. That's you telling God, I'm not wasting whatever time I have left. Use me. Now, let me pray. Beloved, I need you to do something right now. Stop everything, put down your coffee, turn off that television. I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and let me speak directly into your spirit. Father God, I come before your throne right now on behalf of every precious soul listening to my voice. Lord, you see them. You know their names. You know the chair they're sitting in, the room they're in, the weight they're carrying that nobody else can see. And Father, I thank you. I thank you for every single year you've kept them breathing. Every morning you woke them up when they didn't want to wake up. Every night you held them together when they wanted to fall apart. God, I'm thinking about the woman right now who's 73 years old, sitting in her apartment in Queens, wondering if her life ever mattered. I'm thinking about the man who's 81, who buried his wife 6 months ago and can't figure out why you left him here alone. I'm thinking about every elder who's been told by this world that they're invisible, irrelevant, a burden to their own children. And Father, right now, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I cancel those words. I break them off like chains falling to the ground. We declare that every lie that said they're useless is a lie from the pit of hell. Every voice that whispered they're too old, too late, too forgotten, we silence it right now by the blood of the Lamb. Lord, your word says in Psalm 92:14, they shall still bear fruit in old age. They shall be fresh and flourishing, not dried up, not put out to pasture, not waiting to die, fresh, flourishing, still producing, still relevant, still anointed. God, I'm praying over their identity right now. They are not background characters in somebody else's story. They are not extras in the movie of life. They are carriers of wisdom that this foolish generation desperately needs. They are living libraries of your faithfulness. They are breathing testimonies that you keep your promises. Father, I'm asking you to touch their bodies right now. Touch that arthritis in their hands. Touch that pain in their lower back that's been there for 15 years. Touch their minds, the forgetfulness, the fog, the confusion that scares them when they can't remember their grandchild's name. Touch their sleep, Lord. Let this word I'm speaking settle into their bones like warm oil soaking into old wood, making it shine again. And God, I'm praying generationally right now. What you're doing in them tonight, let it spill over. Let it flow down to their children who stopped calling. Let it reach their grandchildren who are lost in this dark world. Let the breakthrough that's coming to them become a river that waters their entire family tree. Isaiah 44:3 says, I will pour water on him who is thirsty and floods on the dry ground. I will pour my spirit on your descendants. That's a promise, Father. We're claiming it right now. I see it in the spirit, a dim lamp that's been flickering for years, about to go out. But you, Lord, you're refueling it with fresh oil, not just enough to keep it burning, enough to make it blaze. Like Caleb at 85 saying, give me this mountain. They're about to get their second wind, their third wind, their supernatural wind. Now, chosen one, I need you to participate in this moment, right where you are. I don't care if you're in your bed, in your kitchen, sitting in your car. Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm is proof you're still here for a reason. And I want you to say out loud, Lord, I receive this. I receive this word. I receive this anointing. I receive this fresh assignment. Say it. Don't just think it. Your walls need to hear it. The enemy needs to hear it. Heaven needs to hear your agreement. This isn't superstition, beloved. This is covenant. When you speak what God has already spoken over you, you're not begging, you're activating. You're not hoping, you're declaring. You're not wishing, you're warring. If you just prayed that prayer with me, if you put your hand on your chest and said, I receive it, I need you to type it in the comments right now. Type Amen or I receive it. Not for me, I don't need to see it. But heaven needs to record your agreement in writing, and hell needs to see that you're not backing down anymore. Because what I'm about to show you next will prove that your greatest chapter isn't behind you. It's standing right in front of you, waiting for you to step into it. So now you know why your thumb froze. Now you understand why you couldn't scroll past this. But there's one question left. And it's the one that's been burning in your chest since the first 30 seconds of this message. Why wasn't this meant to stay public? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your foundation. This message wasn't meant to stay public because it was never about views. It was never about numbers or analytics or trending topics. It was about you, the one sitting there right now, feeling forgotten by the world but seen by heaven. The one God refused to let slip through the cracks one more day. You see, beloved, most messages are broadcast. They're thrown out into the void hoping someone catches them. But this was targeted. This was a divine extraction. Heaven looked at your situation, your loneliness, your doubts, your 3 a.m. questions about whether your life still matters and said, enough. We're pulling them out tonight. It found you because heaven refuses to let you finish your days as if your story is over. The enemy wanted you to believe your best chapters were behind you. That at 70, 75, 80 years old, you were just marking time until the final curtain. But God is saying tonight, I didn't preserve you through everything you've survived just to let you fade quietly into the background. Listen to what the Apostle Paul declared in Philippians 1:6. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Not abandonment, completion. God doesn't half finish his masterpieces. And right now, in this sacred moment, something is shifting over your life. You're being recommissioned, not as a spectator watching from the sidelines, not as a senior citizen society has shelved, but as a carrier of hope. A living testimony, a voice that this generation desperately needs to hear. You may move slower now. Your knees might protest when you stand. You may repeat yourself sometimes. You may forget where you put your glasses 5 minutes ago. But spiritually, heaven just put stripes on your shoulder. You've been promoted. You've been activated. You've been deployed. Moses was 80 when God handed him a nation to lead. Anna was 84 when she prophesied over the Messiah. Your age isn't your expiration date, it's your activation code. From this day forward, I need you to talk like someone God handpicked. Walk like someone God protected on purpose. Every morning when you wake up and your body reminds you of your years, I want you to remind your spirit of your calling. You didn't survive cancer by luck. You didn't make it through that depression by chance. You didn't outlive your critics by accident. You were preserved for such a time as this. Here's the final truth that's going to land in your spirit like lightning. Chosen one, you are the reason this secret had to get out. You are the interruption in the enemy's plan. You are the message that refuses to die in silence. Hell wanted you isolated, convinced you were irrelevant, believing your voice didn't matter anymore. But this message breaking through to you tonight is proof that your story isn't over, it's about to get loud. Now here's what I need you to do, and I need you to do it right now while the fire is still burning in your chest. Don't leave this message quietly. If this word shook something loose in you, if one line hit you so hard you had to pause the video, type it in the comments. Tell me what line broke through. That's not just engagement, that's you sealing what God just did in your spirit. And if you don't want to miss the next time heaven interrupts your scroll like this, stay connected with this community of chosen ones. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. This isn't about algorithms. This is about staying in the flow of what God is releasing over his hidden ones right now. But here's the most important part. There's someone on your mind right now, a friend, a family member, someone who feels exactly like you felt before you clicked this video. That's not random. That's a divine assignment. Send this to them. Let this private message leak one more time. Let them know they're not forgotten either. This wasn't meant to stay public. But now that it found you, don't you dare keep it to yourself.